Hello wrestling fans, welcome back to today's watch along of WWE Smackdown. Now Smackdown recently has not been the most entertaining of shows. It's had its own issues, it's had its own problems, it's had a few things that makes me think, you know what, maybe I shouldn't watch this week. But when I come onto these shows, I encounter a wonderful community of people who give me life, give me faith, give me reason, and my God, do I need it right now. I have had a very rough last 2 hours, which it'll have an effect on me, and I don't know how to really describe that effect beyond saying simple things like not happy. There will be more details, but I suspect today will be a day where you get a lot of sass, because when I'm furious I just get sassy. So what we're about to watch is SmackDown. They've announced 2 matches so far. A 6-pack challenge for a women's championship shot. Madcap Moss will return. And we also get a tag team match that I believe we had on Raw. So wonderful in that regard. The SmackDown roster is so bare bones and thin that it might as well be pointless at this point. They're just trying to do the best they can by importing people from the Raw side and giving us like a lot of Madcap Moss. Maybe we'll see Lacey Evans. She's on SmackDown now. I know usually I'm upbeat, and I'm going to be more upbeat. I promise you. I promise you this is still going to be a fun stream. But I've had a day, guys. I've had a day. Had a very, very rough last 2 hours. But, you know, at least they let spoiler warning finish first. Larry is here saying hello everyone. Bloody caps lock. Hello everyone. Nice and calm, Larry. I appreciate that. Just brought the chill straight in with you. Thomas Phipps says hi Tom. So who have you got in the 6-woman match? Personally, I think I have a Baszler or Shotzi. I 100% have Raquel Rodriguez. I spoke about this over the last couple of shows. Raquel Rodriguez for me. She did technically win the championship contenders match against Ronda Rousey because of a disqualification, which should give her the opportunity to step into a ring with her again for a 3rd time in the last 3 weeks at the pay-per-view. But hey, at least he gets a SmackDown match on the show. That's a start. Megan says, is this your villain era starting? Depends what you mean by villain. If it's a reference to someone who used to call themselves a villain, no. Like heel turn I'd go with, but no, there will be no villain here. Riddle and Shinsuke Nakamura are challenging the Usos for the undisputed tag team championship. That looks like it's going to be our main event and is being advertised and plugged at the beginning of the show. They have made a point of hyping up the 6-pack challenges. Anything goes as well, which is nice. We might actually get some carnage. Oh, I'd love to be Homelander. Sean says hi everyone. Hello Sean. Jacob says greetings. I come bearing double chocolate chip peanut butter brownies. How dare you say that and I can't actively eat them. I want to inhale them. I want them in my mouth and in my soul, and I want them now. I don't have enough junk in. I need more junk. I shouldn't eat junk. I have issues with my body at the moment. Today is not a fun day. Well, no, what is a fun day? A new day. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, the New Day, are on their way down to the ring. Likely they will be fighting some combination of Sheamus, Ridge Holland and Butch because, I mean, let's be fair, they've been doing that since February? Pat McAfee's putting over Michael Cole. There's been a lot of Twitter discourse about Michael Cole recently, and I imagine that might have something to do with it. Megan says the SmackDown roster is so meh. None of them are on the pay-per-view card right now. Yep, and honestly, the 6-match card that we've got, that's all Raw, it's pretty good. It's pretty solid. Jermaine says, hi Tom, did you notice that Sasha and Naomi were pulled from the SmackDown intro too? Yes, it's been reported by basically everyone at this point, to be fair, that they've been removed. The only place I haven't seen them removed is Sasha Banks is still on the SmackDown banner on WWE.com. She's still there. Hello, Chase Paw Patrol. Welcome to the show, mate. Megan says, since I've just watched The Boys, I've not started yet. I finished Stranger Things. That was what I was talking about previously. The Boys is next. Are you going to be Homelander? Don't tempt me. I could do Homeland. I'm gonna think about my phrasing. I could get inside. No. I have time for Homelander. Good villains make a big difference. Chris Todorello says hi. Hello, Chris. How you doing? Larry says it's time they brought the grizzled young veterans to SmackDown or Raw. I know they might lose in NXT, but they're a good, experienced team. Good on the mic. Ideal to give a bit of depth to the tag roster. Would be a good shout. You could always put them in as individuals as well. Gibson versus Ricochet, for example, would be a good build-up to Volta versus Ricochet. I think that could be quite fun. It's a good shout, that, Larry. I like that. Sean says, it's a new day. No, it's not. Well, it is here because 1 a.m. here. Brand new day. It's the 4th here. I'm in the future, guys. I'm in a mood. And I'm still sick. Thick. Ugh. Bailey says, how is the coverage of the Platinum Jubilee over there? Well, for those who don't know, I'm not a fan of the monarchy. For me, they're just people who get paid a lot to basically do nothing. The Queen is essentially the government's hand puppet. So Boris Johnson basically just, when he wants to address the people, he bends her over, just sticks his hand up there and speaks out of her mouth. That's the monarchy for me. I'm not a big fan. Now, from what I can tell, certain princes got cheered more than others. That was pretty fun. But it's always nice in my local area when I see all the bunting out. Those are Tory voters. It's easy to track. It's easy to track. KJ says someone has a blowhorn that'll be taken away soon. It will be. It's very annoying and I kind of get it. Megan says this feud has been going since March from what I can find. Thank you for the clarification. Still too long, but slightly less long than I expected. You sure, Sean? Because I checked this like 2 hours ago. I literally checked the banner 2 hours ago. Let's double check. I'm going to double check that because I checked it 2 hours ago and she was there. There she is. Let me just stick this in the chat. Which side is it on? Okay, Sean, you're on the Twitch side. Stick it in there because there she is. Should I be posting Sasha Banks' back on the banner? Was she removed from the banner? Why not? I'll just put she's still on the banner because that's the case. Banner. Drew McIntyre is walking down with the New Day. Looks like we're about to get another 6-man tag match because, you know, why not? Sasha Banks is currently on the banner image for WWE Smackdown on the website. That's direct from WWE.com, where she's apparently been removed from everything. Banner. The preview shrinks it so she's not visible. That's not Sasha Banks. Then it's a very good lookalike. Kneel to the Steel is Drew's new thing. That's interesting. Thomas Phipps says, what's your predictions for In Our House? I have no idea what the matches even are. I don't watch NXT. I should be very clear on this. I don't watch NXT. I have no idea what the matches are. Let me know what the matches are. I'll let you know my predictions. Zama says, is the winner of the 6-pack challenge going on to face Ronda at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view on Sunday? Probably, yeah. I expect so. Drew making a shout out to Big E. Always nice. Jermaine says, come on, Tom, we all know if anybody can be Homelander, it would be you. Or any wrestler can be Homelander, it would definitely be Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes already is Homelander. Like, if you told me tomorrow that Homelander was based on Cody Rhodes, I wouldn't question it. I would not question it for a second. Megan says, beacons have been lit. I'm disappointed at the lack of Lord of the Rings jokes online. Boris did get very loudly booed, which is hilarious indeed. Megan says, I appreciate Kofi drumming along with Drew's theme. Oh, hang on, he's calling his shot. He's already called his shot for the UK pay-per-view. We knew it was coming. Even Roman himself has mentioned it. Why are they still doing the Big D thing? Please stop with the Big D thing. It makes me uncomfortable. I'm a sensitive soul. Larry says the local newspaper here put out a list of street parties in the Tory areas surrounding where I am. There was 80 in one place, 17 over another area had 50. Where I am, all Labour, there are 8. This made me happy. It's telling, isn't it? It's telling. Simon says, do you think RKO Shinsuke win by DQ tonight? The rematch gets put to the pay-per-view on Sunday. No, I don't think that match goes to pay-per-view. I don't think we're going to get Roman or the Usos on the pay-per-view. I think the Usos are just going to win. Then after the pay-per-view, Randy Orton comes back. Not immediately Bayley, but I think Rishi Sunak's one of those who are most likely to win a championship competition. Thank you, Thomas, for the NXT card. Okay, Toxic Attraction versus Katana Chance and Caden Carter. Toxic Attraction to retain. 6-man tag, Legado versus Tony D'Angelo, Channing Lorenzo and Troy Donovan. I hate to say it, but Tony D'Angelo, Channing Lorenzo and Troy Donovan, they're getting pushed pretty hard right now, and Legado have been kind of forgotten about. Okay, what have they got him? They've got him a Big D, I want to say kilt. Now, does he wear that on the front or the back? Thankfully, the Fight Night... They still say Brawling Bruce, but I'm standing by Fight Night. Thankfully, Fight Night are interrupting this. Thank God. Megan says, just saw on Twitter that Samuel Shaw, formerly known as Dexter Loomis, will be appearing for NWA at their show next weekend. He was moderately in demand, but the pitches for him weren't great, so he's trying a lot of different areas. NWA, I think, is a perfect landing spot. Thomas says, the NXT North American Championship, Cameron Grimes versus Carmelo Hayes. That's an interesting one. I think Carmelo might get it back, to be honest. And NXT Tag Team Championship match, Pretty Deadly versus the Creed Brothers. I see Pretty Deadly retaining. They need to build them and they need to do it fast. Women's Championship match, Mandy Rose versus Wendy Chu. Mandy Rose to retain. And Bron Breakker versus Joe Gacy. Bron to retain. Joe Gacy's being built, but not for the long term. Megan says, I like the logo for Fight Night, but the name Brawling Brutes is meh at best. I agree. I absolutely agree. Fight Night was perfect. Fight Night was always perfect. Butch is charging into the ring solo, and everyone just let him. Alyssa is a fan of the Butch character. It's different. Like, I don't hate it. Initially, I was obviously very pro Pete Dunne and quite anti-Butch, but he's grown on me. He's different. He's unique. Sean is asking about a watch party for In Your House. I'm not sure. I honestly forgot it was coming. I don't watch NXT often enough. I'm not against it. Depends what I'm doing on the day. So maybe. Keep an eye out for a go live. And if you get a notification, by all means jump in. If you don't, it's probably not happening. I worked out earlier that if I do a watch party for In Your House, I'll be doing 7 streams in 4 days. Considering that Hell in a Cell lasts basically forever, you're looking at, what, 20 hours across 4 days? It's not much of a weekend off, is it? So we'll see how it plays out. Megan says, one of the benefits of being in Scotland, we really don't care about the Jubilee. I'm more fussed about my niece's birthday this weekend. Seems fair. Seems fair. I don't care much about the Jubilee. I just made the comparison of Boris Johnson shoving his hand up the Queen's arse, so that's how it goes there. If you're currently watching on YouTube, please remember to hit the like button. That little thumbs up can make a massive difference and really helps with the growth of the channel. We are trying to get one more subscriber today. That one more subscriber will take us to a very, very nice place of 1,170 subscribers. A wonderful amount. We have 17 people watching right now and 8 likes. So if we can do slightly better on those likes, I'd be very, very happy. This is an Ask Me Anything stream with myself, Tom Collicky. We are watching full show live stream of WWE Smackdown. So jump in, ask questions, chat away, whatever works for you guys as we watch WWE Smackdown. Alyssa says, what happens to Seth Rollins if he loses Sunday with him after the epic feud? They would transfer him to someone else for SummerSlam, probably give him a bit of time away. but it's very possible he'll instead be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. It brings a lot of star power to that. I suspect Seth and Cody are both going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match, in fact. Which is awkward, but we are where we are. Megan says it's an excuse for a piss up more than anything else. That's all people are actually celebrating. Same as St. Paddy's Day, let's be fair. Sean says Roxanne beats Tiffany to win the breakout tournament. Do you think Roxanne uses her win on Mandy or on the tag belts if you had to make a choice? 100% Mandy. I mean, she is not, to my knowledge, a tag team. Larry says, I've had to stop typing. Even now, I fight not to type Rishi Sunak, Richie Bloody Sunak, the man behind the mass COVID spreading event that was Eat Out to help out. That Rishi, useless Bloody Sunak, but I've resisted typing it, luckily. That's good. Your resistance is very strong, and I appreciate that. Yeah, that guy's really popular. Here's the thing. Politics is celebrity nowadays. It is. It's how Donald Trump won the White House. Celebrity. So when you go to the ballot in the UK, you don't even know who's on that. Like, you barely know the names if you're not paying attention. So most people will just vote for whoever's there. People know the name Rishi Sunak because he was in the news, hiding a lot of wealth. Just hiding a lot of wealth. People will remember that. And people will vote for him thinking, oh, I know him, I don't know the rest. Politics sucks. Though I did once describe politics using wrestling. Jeremy Corbyn was Baron Corbin. An old road trip trick. Simon says, my good friend who lives in Ohio, in the USA, 15 minutes drive away from the arena, is currently not going because of Sasha. If he's fave, no Sasha, no shows, he's a big WWE fan. They still sold enough tickets. They're pretty happy with the overall turnout. Moxie says, acknowledge me, consider yourself acknowledged, as it were. I'm definitely not your wise man, tell you that. That is not how that works, but I appreciate you dropping in, mate. How you doing? We do indeed have the same 6-man tag match that we had last week again. The same one. It's the exact same match. This is going to be one of those Smackdowns that you don't actually need to watch, isn't it? Sean says, did anyone see AJ Lee on Oral Sessions? If not, I recommend. I didn't see enough of it yet. I'm an AJ Lee fan. I should definitely be checking it out. Megan says, Rishi Sunak is a bellend pleb. Very creative. I get the element of Stifler from you. If you go old-fashioned, as of course we do. Or Malcolm Tucker if you go more modern. Simon says, really happy Naomi looks happy on the beach today with her family. She posted on her Insta. She did. She's smiling. That's pretty good. Megan, the issue is they've all been wheel spin episodes recently. It's a problem. Sean says, AJ Lee said when she told Vince she was retiring, Vince said the door is open for a return. And it is. If at any point she wants to return, Vince McMahon would be very eager to bring her back into the fold. They didn't part on too bad terms, as it were, which is a positive. Patrick said, I thought this feud was over. Because SmackDown has so few people right now, no feud is over. No feud. It's all just going to keep going until the inevitable heat death of the universe. So it's all just going to keep going. All of it. Alyssa says, Liv Morgan, Cody Rhodes, my prediction for Money in the Bank holder. Don't see Alexa Bliss, doesn't need it. I don't see Alexa Bliss either. I think she'll be in the match for the star power. I don't think she actually is going to get the briefcase. She's had her moment with it. Honestly, she's big enough at this point that development's not really the most important thing for her at this point in time. Rich Holland was apparently kicked out of the rugby league for being too dangerous and reckless. I promise you that was not the case. Eloquent rage is a really good way to describe that, Megan. Alyssa says, miss the bar. Me too, honestly. I miss Cesaro as a general rule, but the bar was a wonderful thing. There is a picture of me on my Instagram with Cesaro doing the bar. Obviously, the picture isn't of me doing the bar. I've only got one, which would make that awkward. I don't want to play favourites. But I was doing the hand sign for the bar. Although I do have to say, I find it interesting. I made a joke earlier about the Street Fighter movie. That is in the Street Fighter movie. Zangief gets it corrected by the end of the film. Suddenly it's all in my head. Drew McIntyre is clearly being built up as the returning hero here. He's been built up for the hot tag. Sheamus is just sort of another body, though, not being as protected, which I think is a shame, but also I kind of get. Simon says, will Seth ever win a big match and feud ever again? All he does ever is lose now. Future WWE champion, perhaps very hopefully. Yeah, he's in the Randy Orton role now. Randy Orton for a while, 2012 to 2018, around that time, he'd be losing feud, champion. Losing feud, champion. And that's how he balanced out. That's Seth's role at this point in time. Sean says, SmackDown needs people badly. It does. It's been borrowing people from Raw for a bit too long. Megan says, the bar was mint. Was it mint bar? Was it mint bar? Larry says, Jeremy Hunt is a well-known Tory contender, but mostly known as rhyming slang. Yep, and very accurate rhyming slang as well. Thomas Phipps says, how would you book a Cesaro return? I would have him try and rescue Sheamus from Fight Night and ultimately fail. So honestly, I'd have New Day and Drew McIntyre lose this match. I'd have probably Kofi take the pin. I'd have Butch, Rich Holland and Sheamus beat down all three of them after the match. I'd have Cesaro run down, like rescue them, throw Sheamus off, and over the next few weeks, try and turn Sheamus back to the good side. Ultimately pissing off Rich Holland and Butch. And Sheamus is torn between helping and not helping. Eventually he decides, you know what? I'm going to help. Rich Holland and Butch beat the hell out of you, Cesaro. Then we get a brief Cesaro versus Sheamus feud, which Cesaro wins. Then we'd have Cesaro versus Volta. For a while, like, I would have that feud for like 2 months. Which for me is a while. Just so everyone knows, for me that's a while. I would 100% have Cesaro, Volta, just basically non-stop for a while. I'll definitely do that. From there, I would have probably probably Cesaro lose that one, to be honest. Volta moves on to Ricochet to win the championship. And then Cesaro at some point moves in against Roman. Just have another go. Just go on. Just try again. Like, I know the first time didn't end great, but just give it another go. I believe in you. Patrick says, AJ Lee praising WWE, had nothing bad to say about it. Wish she'd smack some sense into CM Punk and get Punk to patch up his issues with WWE. That's not her job. They are two entirely separate people. Hard to believe sometimes, I know. Bailey says, fill in the blanks. The next WWE star to AEW will be... Shinsuke Nakamura. The next AEW star to WWE will be MJF. Maybe they do the Miz MJF trade. That's what we've all been waiting for. Alyssa says, Sheamus needs Cesaro to bring back the bar. I don't think he needs it. I think he's doing pretty well with Fight Night. But I do think the bar would elevate him again a little bit. Sean says, I see where people are saying Alexa doesn't need Money in the Bank. That's true. But she does need to be champion again. It's been almost 4 years since her last singles reign. This is just my opinion. And you are, of course, welcome to share your opinion, Sean. I would like to see her with a championship belt again. But for now, I'd like her to stay out of the path of Bianca and Ronda and let them build for a little while, yeah. The thing with Alexa is that she's in a position right now where when she does eventually win the championship again, it'll be to build the next big star. What I would like to do is have her paired up with Doudrop and Nikki Cross again, have Doudrop and Nikki Cross win the tag team championships, have Alexa sort of coaching them and building them. Shortly after that, well, I'd have them hold on to the championships for about 6 months. I would have Alexa Bliss win... probably at next year's WrestleMania, win the championship from Bianca Belair, have Bianca Belair hold it for the whole year, and have her win it because of interference from Nikki Cross and Doudrop. Then Bianca Belair would get her revenge on Nikki Cross and Doudrop by attacking them after a match, and ultimately she does so much damage to them that long term they do end up losing the championships. Or she just takes over coaching a team against them. That seems more face. This then leads to whatever the rematch is, as it were, and Nikki Cross and Doudrop help again. But they're being a little bit disillusioned now because Alexa Bliss isn't paying back. The eventual plan there would be for Doudrop to beat Alexa Bliss and become the women's champion. That would be what I would be thinking in that regard. Simon says, Ridge Holland, fun fact, played for the Halifax Blue Sox in the championship, a lifelong, very big Bradford Bulls rugby league fan. I was born in Kingston upon Hull. We had 2 rugby teams and I watched neither of them. Sean says, do you think CM Punk will be a placeholder champion? Yes and no. I think in the end Hangman Page was kind of a placeholder champion. It was not a long reign. I would give him maybe 4 months. And then I think promises may have to be made to MJF to keep him about, is what I'm saying. Megan says, how close is LA Knight going to get to Adam Pearce this week? I refuse to use a new name. Well, I think Max Dupree will lean in so close they can smell each other. And it'll be hot. That's all I want to say. It'll be hot. Alyssa would like to see a Sheamus babyface turn to go against Roman. You and me both. That'd be fantastic. Megan says, CM Punk has just tweeted he's going to be on Rampage with an important announcement in regards to the AEW World Championship and my career. Yeah, it's not going to be that important. That sounds very much like Tony Khan saying, there's going to be a massive announcement on the show. Watch it, watch it, watch it though. Drew McIntyre just slapped Pat McAfee so hard and affectionately that Pat McAfee sold it like a champ. That is a guy with a very good career in wrestling ahead of him. McIntyre with one of the worst overhead belly-to-bellies I've ever seen. That's largely down to Sheamus though. But it does prevent him from using the Claymore. We're nearly a half hour in. We've had this one segment the entire way. Match has been alright so far. I'm not unhappy with it. I just wanted to say. Ross says another Cesaro-Sheamus feud would be cool. I liked their 7-match series. Me too, and that was 2016. That was 6 years ago. Simon says, give Sheamus and Drew their old, really awesome entrance music back. They're not going to give Drew the music back. I don't think they're going to give Sheamus the music back. I don't think they have the rights to it anymore. BFG says, finally he has returned. Indeed, Drew has. He came out last week, but we can celebrate it regardless for a second week in a row. Thomas Phipps says, could Naomi come back like Roman did? I don't know what I mean by like Roman did, but if she wants to come back, she can come back. The WWE have been very open about that. If Naomi and Sasha want to return, all I've got to do is return. Austin is rooting for Shayna Baszler tonight. This may be the closest that Shayna Baszler has come to a championship shot for a long time, I tell you that. Bitter end from Butch. Is it a heel win? It is. Butch pins Xavier Woods. One of the first times I've seen Butch actually beat someone. I would say it's a colossal upset. They're being booked very well. Megan says Hangman had the second shortest reign with the AEW title at 197 days. That's about 6 months, to be fair. Just over. Simon says Alexa got the really big Hogan Warrior flair in NWA WCW style push early on in her career, with 5 times Women's Raw SmackDown Women's Championship long title reigns. She did, that's very true. The original championship win for Alexa Bliss, here's a bit of information you may enjoy. The original championship win for Alexa Bliss was supposed to be for Eva Marie. She was given the push that Eva Marie was supposed to get. I know you're referring to you, BFG. I didn't really want to highlight it given how you left. I was just going to let you slide back in under the radar, but hey, if you want to draw attention to it, you go right ahead. Austin says, I didn't get to see it. Was there any news on Cesaro? There was a report from Dave Meltzer, and I just want to read the quote again. Okay? Because it's just ridiculous. There was a quote from Dave Meltzer in which he said the following, when I can find it, in which he said, as regards Cesaro, that essentially AEW didn't believe that he'd be signing there because they thought he'd be signing with WWE instead. But he finished with, and I quote, there's nothing definite in that direction. So there is a report about Cesaro, and there is absolutely no information in it. Cool. Alyssa says, is it me or is Drew McIntyre heel turn? Boring as a babyface. I prefer the Scottish psychopath to the Scottish warrior. Be very open about that. Still very much believe it. I am hopeful, very hopeful, that things will work out and we will get more of a psychopath edge back. But I do agree that Drew McIntyre, as he is, kind of dull. Riddle and Shinsuke Nakamura being interviewed backstage. We're getting a recap of RK Bro versus the Usos and the beating that they took. Thomas says, what I meant was return to a pissed off persona and demanding respect. Oh yeah, absolutely. I get what you're saying. Absolutely. And I think that would work, to be honest. Just put it straight in the bloodline. Just accept it. Stop fighting it. Let it turn heel. Do it. Absolutely do it. Austin says, I hope I don't jinx it, but Shayna shirt and socks on. Absolutely, mate. Commit. Commit the whole way. Alyssa wants a double turn between Roman and Drew. Oh, no. No chance. No chance. Roman's this way for life now. He's going to be heel for the rest of his career. Also, Drew's definitely going to stay face until at least Clash at the Castle. Sean says, I know Shayna uses catch style of wrestling. I don't see how people find that kind of wrestling entertaining. I'm just asking. I enjoyed it at times. The match between Riddle and Drew Gulak, for example, was a catch style wrestling match, and I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really good. You're right, BFG. Riddle just suggested that Randy Orton's career was ended by the bloodline. It isn't. They're saying this one's for Randy, but I'd imagine if he wins the championship with someone else, Randy's not going to be happy. We are on commercial break. The first half hour has been okay. Been okay. Like, I'm not unhappy with the first half hour. I think at this point we're probably going to be looking at the women's match being the draw segment, and Madcap Moss and Baron Corbin up next, or Sami Zayn, something like that. Simon says, this show needs a role model. Got my Bayley t-shirt and hoodie on today. Miss Bayley so much. Nearly been a full year now. That's true. That's true. We're having a 6-pack challenge. I'd love it if Bayley just got involved. Let's do it. Well, to be fair, Lacey Evans may still do that. Ross says, with SmackDown's roster being so weak at the moment, do you think we'll get multiple call-ups from NXT? Can't see WWE wanting to sign many after firing so many people. I think there's a strong possibility of multiple call-ups. I think the main reason that Katana Chance at the moment is involved there is that she may be getting the call-up. Oh, God. What are they calling her now? Something Fire. Kaylee Ray, Io Shirai. There are plenty of people that you could call up right now. I don't understand why the WWE hasn't already done it, but I hope they at some point catch up and we get more names. John says, think we'll see Lacey tonight? Yes. I do think we'll see her, but I don't think it's going to be in ring. I think it'll be another one of those vignettes. I think we're looking at an Emmalina situation, to be honest. Megan says, we had wrestling in the first half hour, so I'm good. And a good match as well, to be fair. Very little storyline progression, but hey, the bad guys won for once. New Day have been dominating this feud, like, with ease. Also says, Io Shirai should have been called up long before now. I agree. We're like 2 years overdue, the Io Shirai call-up. I don't understand why it's taking so long. It's not hard. She's very, very talented. Just do it. Bayley says, I would genuinely not be surprised if they just move Lacey back and forth without a match, like Veer. Veer's a good call. Veer's a good call. I like it. Apologies, guys. I'm still a little bit under the weather. Larry says, Riddle without Randy makes me sad. The relationship between Riddle and Randy was one of the most beautiful things in wrestling. You could see the 100% genuine affection between them. There's quite a few people who have real life and kayfabe relationships that mirror it. I reference this all the time, but Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin are really close. The New Day just genuinely have a honest chemistry. And it makes a big difference just overall to what we as fans are watching. I really enjoy it. BFG says, I finally saw the light after all those creators unfortunately decided to take their content to Twitch only for the money and kick their YouTube loyal supporters to the cave. Now, I can't say too much because when I got onto the Sports Accelerator, I did that. Then afterwards, I came back. And now, to be blunt, once the company is set up, YouTube will probably be earning more than Twitch. But I don't want to let Twitch go because it's been so good to me and there are so many people there who only watch on Twitch. I don't want to force them to change. We can do a show on both. It's great. It's fantastic. We can absolutely do that, so why not? Absolutely, why not? And speaking of, if you're currently watching on Twitch, if you haven't yet done so, click follow. We do live watch-alongs of wrestling events, primarily Smackdown, but also WWE pay-per-views. And we also do spoiler warning on Mondays and Fridays. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up. Give the show a like. Watch the show grow because of that. And subscribe if you haven't already, because at the moment, we're trying to get it to 1,170, and we need one more. Max Dupree has walked in to Adam Pearce's office and is standing very, very close to Adam Pearce. So close. I can't be watching things like this. You can't expect me not to react. Like, this is having an effect on me. I'm only human. Yes, someone said, unfortunately you did miss Butch. He won. He won a match. Imagine a world in which he wins a match. Well, you wouldn't have to imagine if you'd been watching. Alba Fire, thank you kindly. Thomas says, I find it worrying that NXT keep on referencing the bloodline whenever Solo is on. Yeah, I wish they'd stopped that. Let the man stand Solo. Sorry, forgive the pun. Next week, we found out the first client of Maximum Male Models. Max Dupree will let us know who he's representing. Sean says, possible EO doesn't want to come up because she doesn't want her character or theme changed. They would change her character or theme in NXT then. If they want to change your character, it doesn't matter whether you're main roster or not, they'll just change it. They won't think about it, they'll just do it. Simon says, has Bayley been backstage at TV lately? Yeah, every now and then, primarily just to visit people. There's been a couple of meetings. She has been backstage, and I say, she's clear. And you guys know that when it came to Alexa Bliss, I knew exactly her return schedule. I've got a few issues with my technology at the moment. I do have the PS4 if need be, so I can always make that change. I will then have to work out how to do it. There's a lot going on. We have Hell in a Cell hype. We have Raw Hell in a Cell hype. Well, to be fair, if they're going to hype Hell in a Cell, they're going to be hyping Raw. They are hyping Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, a likely main event on the night. Hector says, to be fair, Tom, we all thought the same for Dakota Kai. And we see how that went, albeit Dakota didn't really want to come up. But they also had no plans for her and didn't see her as a draw. I'm hopeful the same doesn't happen to EO. Same. The thing is, EO's been the one that they've refused to let go despite batch upon batch upon batch. Much like Elias was one that they refused to let go. Now, ultimately, he's gone his own way now. And I found it very good that his brother Ezekiel is happy to sort of fly that flag. But the fact that we had people who were involved and then sort of drifted out is very telling. Megan says EO should have been called up after War Games 2020. Good times. Megan says, good wrestling and some good eye candy. This is, of course, in reference to Max Dupree. It's a very nice moment. BFG says, as regards YouTube and Twitch, I wish people would do both, but it appears they all want the money instead. It is unfortunate. I won't be doing one or the other as I grow either. I may do both, but not one or the other. I'm doing both for the growth. To be blunt, if I'd focused everything on Twitch, I would probably be making more money on Twitch. If I'd focused everything on YouTube, I'd probably be making more money on YouTube. I'm happy with the situation that I have. I'm very happy with my overall growth. I'm very happy with the fact that so many of you have been so fantastic in supporting the shows. Even just hitting like. It genuinely makes a huge difference. Sean says, happy belated 45th birthday to AJ Styles. Happy belated 26th to JC Jane. Their birthdays were yesterday. Two people on opposite ends of their careers. But a lot of talent in JC Jane. I'm excited to see where she goes. Thomas says, who do you think will be the first member of Max Dupree's new stable? I'm thinking Mansoor. I agree. I definitely think it's going to be Mansoor on the basis when you think male model. He's a very fitting sort of character. You can see that golden smile, as it were. He's very chosen one golden boy. So I think he'd be absolutely perfect. Simon says, Sasha, Naomi, Becky, Asuka, Liv, Rhea, Alexa, Shayna, Star Power Studded, Money in the Bank Women's Ladder Match. Indeed, if Sasha and Naomi are, of course, back by then. Megan says he's a handsome man. What can I say? I'm only human. Hot is hot. There's a lot of hot people in the wrestling world. Absolutely, there is an element... An element of hotness is just fitness. And that may sound like a bit disingenuous, as it were, but it's one of the basics of it. I certainly am attracted to fit people. I'm attracted to muscle. I'm attracted to stamina, as it were, if you'll forgive me a little bit of tongue-in-cheek humour there. So, for example, I find Finn Balor quite attractive because, wow, ab, etc. I also find Charlotte Flair quite attractive because she's literally an absolute Adonis. Is it Adonis? Amazon. She is an Amazonian goddess. That's that's the one. So I totally get it. Sean says Mansoor or Mace. Those, of course, are the people who've already been reported to be working with him, so it does make sense. Moxie says, Tom, I'm going to keep it 100. I think Natalya is winning the six-pack challenge. Interesting. Now, it's not a bad shout. Natalya is one of those... Everyone works with Natalya eventually. She would certainly put on a good match with Ronda Rousey, high quality. They have wrestled once before, to my knowledge. Megan, I'm sure, will let me know if I'm wrong. So certainly not a bad shout. I believe Raquel Rodriguez will be the one. Los Lotharios, who seem to be wrestling every single week, are on their way down. Humberto has the opportunity. I don't know what that opportunity is, but he's wrestling tonight. And Angel Garza is with him. Who are they going to be snogging this time? Who are they going to snog? Who are you going to snog? Ghostbusters? No. I'm starting to sing on these streams now, and that's bad. I sing on my gaming streams. That's what I do. I don't know why you always look over there. We know where you kiss. You've only ever kissed the same place, so... Well, obviously I mean cheeks, but... You've only ever kissed a person in the same place. And a person we never see again. She's being quite clever there. Am I wrong? Are they changing tack? Are they changing position? Well played, gentlemen. They changed position. Okay, the acting wasn't terrible, but it also wasn't great. Also, the fact that she got distracted by the fact that there was a camera. Very different thing. Thank you kindly, Moxie, for renewing your subscription. That is 6 months total that you've been subscribed. And you are begging them to do Kiss Cam with a Man. They should. I absolutely think they should. Do it. Be great. Be hilarious. BFG says, final comment on this matter. I especially felt devalued. I tell them the reasons why I wouldn't be coming over. It's a hard platform for somebody with a disability to use. They didn't care and laughed in my face. That absolutely sucks, mate. I'm very sorry to hear that. Megan says Mansoor is a handsome guy, so I'll say he's the first one. I'm going with Mansoor first as well, yeah. What is my hair doing? I've had a day, guys. I've had a day. KJ says Max Dupree's first client should be LA Knight. Now that would be some multiverse stuff right there. A multiverse that I imagine would make Megan very happy. You're not checking anything, Megan. You're good. Darnell, welcome. Says, hey Tom, how's it going? It's going alright. I'm in a bit of a sassy mood. I'm a little bit wired at the moment. There's been a little neighbour drama. We're trying to keep it all under wraps and under control, but there was police. There was shouting. It's been a dramatic day. Hector said if Cesaro is back in the fold per se, Do you think they tease his return without directly saying his name in the leading up to a possible return, like they did with Cody, or no? No, I don't think they would. I think they'd rather have the surprise. WWE prefers surprise, AEW prefer the build-up. It's a network thing. Megan sings too. Yeah, I don't like. You've dropped in to the Last of Us stream, haven't you? I do a lot of singing on the Last of Us streams. I don't know how much of them like you've watched. I don't know if it's compelling on a rewatch. I don't know. Like I watch Eurogamer streams like back as it were. I'm really enjoying Aoife. I know I said Aoife Lockhart there. Aoife Wilson playing Evil Within. Mostly because I don't want to play Evil Within again. I never finished it. I hate it. It's a horrible, horrible game. So I'm really enjoying watching her suffer instead of me. But I don't think I'm entertaining on a second viewing. Doing what I can. Yeah, as you say, KJ, they changed the place for once. I was getting more and more. Maybe they saw my tweets. Megan says, just once I'd like it to be one of their wives. That would be fun and kind of awkward. Like, yeah, you kiss her too. Bit weird. Especially since they're family. Bit weird. Simon says, is it true? Somebody said earlier on Twitter. I don't know. I haven't seen anything on that, Simon. If you're able to just go and research that, you'll be able to know for certain. Megan says, it is Pride Month. Spread the love with the Los Lotharios Kiss Cam. Is it Pride Month in America? I know they have a different Mother's Day, which is very confusing to me. As regards a Max Dupree managing a LA Knight, Megan just says, oh hell yes, it made me very happy. Give me my eye candy. Megan wants her candy. Megan needs candy. There's a t-shirt, Megan. Megan needs candy. We're getting a recap of Shanky dancing. Thank you, Megan. Appreciate that. I'm literally going to Pride next week. There's a festival in Blackpool. I'm taking some family. Sean says, Max Dupree, first client should be a returning Cesaro. Wouldn't be against it. I don't think they're going to convince Cesaro to return. I think he's just priced himself out of an AEW move. I think that's it. I think what Dave Meltzer is saying is that WWE are the only ones who can afford him. They need people on SmackDown right now. It's not an impossibility, but I'd be pleasantly surprised, but I would still be surprised is what I'm trying to say. Shanky gets cued to dance with no music. Fun fact, when they give you the dancing gimmick, your career's over. Your career's over. Simon says, Ember Moon, Athena, debut match on AEW Rampage tonight. Can't wait for the Eclipse finisher. Once again, one of my favourite finishing moves in the entire business. They may need to rename it. It's a great move. It's a great name. They may need to rename it. Megan says, maybe when I get affiliate, I can have candy emotes, a little inside joke. That would be fun. That would be fun. I dropped into one of your streams a couple of days ago. Just lurked it. I can barely even remember what you were doing because it's one of those where I clicked on it and was like, oh, okay. And then just closed my phone. Because I didn't have time to interact much, but I could always just leave it on lurk. Hopefully you got a benefit from it. Hector says, Tom, did you see this whole CM Punk injury situation? Thoughts on where this is going? I'm not aware of an injury situation. I was streaming, spoiler warning. Then there was drama, so I didn't get to actually spend any time on my PC. I opened Football Manager. Then they were shouting, so I had to go and sort that. Then I came back and closed Football Manager because Smackdown. And since then I've been watching Smackdown, so I don't know anything about that. Megan says we're going to get more dancing for Samantha, aren't we? Well, she seemed to like it from Shanky. Simon says, I know it won't ever happen, but my God, if Sasha, Naomi, Bayley return in the six-pack instead of one of them, the roof will come off the arena. The pop will be absolutely huge. It would be. It is not going to happen. Thomas says, still to this day, I can't believe that Jinder was WWE champ. I know it was a shock rise, but it was also a colossal fall. Like, they tried to keep his momentum as best they could at the time. They gave him a US Championship run. They gave him a feud with Jeff Hardy. It just didn't work. It just didn't work. Athena's Law's an option, Sean. That would work. Megan says, if it helps get my average viewer count, that's great because that's what I really need right now, so thank you. Yeah, no worries. I saw that you were on, I think, 2, so I dropped in thinking, I'll pop her up to 3 for a bit. To start. Anytime I can do that, I usually at least try to. Like, I've dropped in more than I've actually chatted to you and just done what I kind of a lurk, as it were. Little things like that make a big difference. We're heading into draw segment territory. So far we're on our second match, which is still Humberto Carrillo versus Jinder Mahal. I don't know who I'm supposed to be cheering for. The crowd are being good sports here, but I don't think they really know who to cheer for. So the whole story is that Shanky's into it and Jinder's annoyed by that. The crowd are booing this. Sean says, we'll see if the rumoured reports about a repackaging for Madcap Moss is true or not tonight. We will. Madcap Moss returns tonight. Jinder Mahal picks up the win. Shanky instead distracted Humberto. And Mahal's into it now. Okay, that's actually not. Simon says, I found Tom due to Sasha missing our SummerSlam news last year. Being here nearly 1 full year now. The crew appreciate Tom, always the best for Sasha news. Thank you kindly, Simon. I try my best to be accurate for all the news, as it were. I've been on a particularly solid run when it comes to Sasha Banks. And I'm very, very happy with that. I don't think Samantha's been told that this is going to be happening, because she knew it was coming when he looked over at her. She just never seems to know how to react to this. Oh, she's getting up. She's going for it. She's embracing it. This is Smackdown, guys. This is Smackdown. We're going into the women's division now. Logically for draw segment then, Ronda. Ronda is the draw. Megan says, my overall average is 1.8 just now. I need to get that up and also still need to get past 50. How close are you there, Megan? How close are you? As regards getting up to that 3.0, I'm not sure what we can do at the moment, but I'll try and work out something. We can have a chat about it. Sean says, Tom, I'm glad I met you. A great guy and the man I trust for wrestling news, so thank you. Oh, it's turning into a loving. Thank you, everybody. That's absolutely lovely. I don't know what... Okay, let's open this to the floor. How did you originally find me? I'm very interested. Some of you I remember when you came in. Some of you, I don't remember when you came in. You've always been here as part of the furniture. So how did you find me and what made you stick around? Ronda Rousey is making her entrance. Ready for the draw segment? To an okay cheer. The crowds pop for her. They genuinely do. I'd imagine she's going to be joining commentary. Gerver said, Tom, Thunder Rosa, frustrated about not getting TV. This is a report, an exclusive report from What Culture? Nobody else is reporting it. Interesting. Simon says, a feud of Roman drew to as well. I don't know who you're referring to. You mean me? I mean, I'm down for that. Bailey says, other than Jinder, who has been the least prominent WWE champion for the last 20 years, Alberto Del Rio, Rob Van Dam. I want to say Jack Swagger, to be completely honest with you. I think Jack Swagger's the guy. Like, Del Rio had a decent push for a while. RVD was beloved. I want to say Jack Swagger. 46, Megan. So you're only 4 away. You're very close. I mean, you've grown pretty well. Ross says, LA Knight was my favourite NXT character. Not a fan of the change, but it's what WWE do. Being Scottish, I also hate the Kaylee Ray change to Alba Fire. Hope she's successful. I like NXT. Make it relevant. they do need a bit of a boost in that regard, making NXT that little bit more relevant. But fingers crossed they do catch up on that one. It looks like we're actually getting everyone's entrances. No actual jobbers entrance, which is unusual for WWE. Very unusual. Simon says, Punk jumped into the crowd, hurt his legs somewhat before his and FTR Trio's 6-man tag match. Victory win over the Gun Club and the Acclaimed. Oh, interesting. So they're trying to push the idea that this means he's going to be surrendering the belt. Aliyah is locked in the locker room, which means that surely someone is going to take her place. And I guess I'd say either that's a reason for a commercial break and that's our hook, or it's just Lacey Evans. Well mentioned by Pat McAfee. She didn't just lock Aliyah in there, she locked a camera operator in there. So we're going to have ourselves a commercial break while they try and open a door. That's where we are now. Trying to open a door. Thomas says, I think WWE will tease the Shayna versus Ronda match for as long as possible. I would say as long as possible, although the WWE unfortunately do have habit with that. But fingers crossed. I'd like to see it continue teasing at least a little bit. Chad says, nobody puts Shanky in the corner. I mean, now you've got Fallout Boy in my head. Sean says, I was suggested to you by my friend Michael Latina. I do remember that day when Michael did let me know someone else was coming and to keep an eye out for you, and then here you were. Megan says, I think for me, it was that we had some interactions on Twitter. I believe we did, yes. I saw you had a Twitch, so I checked it out, and now you're stuck with me. I have never been happier to be stuck with a person, Megan. Don't you worry about that. Thomas says, I found you when I was looking for live reactions to WrestleMania, and you're easy to engage with and that you have good insight. Oh, I appreciate that, Thomas. That's very nice to hear. Thank you. Engagement-wise, I try my hardest to make sure to respond to everyone that I possibly can. That's what I want. It's not about, like the engagement algorithms and all that stuff. It's about talking to people. It's about treating people well. If people are going to come in and chat away to me, I want to chat back to them. I want to give them the time of day, and I want to answer questions and stuff. And yeah, I have a lot of experience when it comes to wrestling. I've been following it for a long time. I've worked with people like Wade Keller. I've met a lot of wrestlers and interviewed quite a few as well. I've had a couple of interviews now with Triple H, for example. I'm very happy to know that you think I have good insight. I try my best for you. Simon says, fun fact, Ricochet engaged with Samantha Irvin in real life. Hopefully they're very happy together. Megan says, there's a spot in the challenge. Potentially, yes. If they can't work out how to open a door, there's a spot in the challenge. She also says NXT could use some big main roster name that isn't doing anything. There aren't that many, to be fair. It'll just end up being Apollo Crews, wouldn't it? Alexa? Would you move Alexa to NXT for a month or so? Wouldn't be bad. KJ says, Aliyah being locked away leaves an open spot. You know who that is? Yes! Lacey Evans. Ross says, found you by pure chance, Tom, flicking through YouTube. Listened to a few of your shows, trusted the news you've been putting out, and been a supporter of your channel ever since. Fantastic. I think with a show like Spoiler Warning, if I was getting stuff wrong, you'd all know. Like, you would all immediately know. And that's one of the key things when it comes to this YouTube. The shows that we have, I wouldn't have the growth or the people here if I wasn't putting out reliable news. Because you're the guys who receive it. And you're the guys who know my records and such. And you're the guys who choose to stick around. Thank you very kindly, Ross, for doing so. KJ says, I'm sorry, man. SmackDown the Thunderdome to when fans came back all the way to the draft was freaking top tier. Was, in my opinion, the best SmackDown run since going live. And now, I don't know. It was the Roman era. It was the era of the tribal chief. And since the draft, it just hasn't been. It's a shame. Sean says, we love our stat queen, all hail. Sean also says, Alexa said she'd like to go down to NXT and face Mandy and win the only title she hasn't held. That could work. I don't think she should win it, to be clear, but I wouldn't mind doing it. Oh, Devi says something which I'm not going to say because I'm not a racist. Leisha Miller, welcome, says, was searching for Sasha and Naomi updates and there were so many. Felt your reports were genuine and honest compared to others. Well, thank you very kindly, and hello, Leisha. The updates that I've been providing, I've been double checking everything that I possibly can. I know this is a very delicate situation. I don't want to say anything that might affect Sasha and Naomi. But when it comes to Sasha Banks, I do have an extremely good record. Naomi, not so much. I don't have so much experience with her. But I have reported previously, exclusively, when she's going to join the Royal Rumble and so on. I believe it was 2020, that I was the only one saying, yeah, she's there. She's going to be there. She's going to be involved about 2 weeks beforehand. So I do have experience with this. And I appreciate that you enjoyed them. I think a lot of reporters mess around with it. They clickbait. They tease. They say everything's massive news. Naomi coming back to a Royal Rumble wasn't necessarily massive news. But when it comes to the Sasha Banks and Naomi news, it was big. It absolutely was big. So it needed people who weren't going to bother with clickbait, who weren't going to mess around. It needed a light hand. They're still advertising a 6-pack challenge. Have you gone back to get her? Shotzi's saying ring the bell. It's not up to you, Shotzi. It's not up to you, Shotzi. Ref, don't let yourself get bullied. She's here. Well, you could just leave them to it. That worked. KJ says, built to SummerSlam, we had Edge, Cena, Seth, Roman, Big E, KO, Finn, Sammy, Usos, Mysterios, Paul Corbin, Banks, Bianca, Liv, and more. I didn't even mention Roman, all that around him. Indeed, though, Liv, I believe, was on Raw at the time, working with... Oh, no. Because Becky ended up on SmackDown as well, didn't she? It's a hell of a time to be a SmackDown supporter, I'll tell you that. KJ says they said nope to Ronda on commentary. They did. She's just sort of sat there. It's a bit sad. I feel bad for her. Now, they have been trying to develop Raquel. And this is definitely going to be her match. Botch. Botched by Raquel. She went back into it to continue the spot. Honestly, she turned it into a decent move. But it was a botch. It wasn't a catch. Oh, he did mention Roman, of course he did. Bailey says it's awkward that Ronda is sitting there but not on commentary. Yeah. Right, so now they're going to do Shayna dirty. Okay, Shayna was able to at least take Raquel down slightly and eliminate her from action for a moment. Okay, just says Becky and Brock were both on SmackDown at a time too. Yep, there's a reason it was so good. There's also a reason Raw was so bad at the time. Moving Seth, Becky and Edge hit it hard. It really did. But they still... Oh, well, Bianca as well. I think Bianca was a bigger loss. That's one that I personally predicted I thought would be happening. Same as Drew moving across to SmackDown. Though I do feel... I wanted Bobby Lashley moving across to SmackDown. I feel if Bobby Lashley moved across to SmackDown, we'd be in a pretty good position right now. Just the addition of him to go up against Roman would have been fantastic. This also is the highest stakes Xia Li has ever had. So, biggest match of her career. Megan says, I'm fine with Ronda not talking. Also not, because she needs to practice, and Colin McAfee would be good to help her out. Pat McAfee would guide her very well. Just very, very well. I'm going to do another spray. My throat's getting very dry. Oh. I think Shayna did bounce her head a little bit on that DDT. Only slightly, shouldn't be damaging. Xia Li not quite in position for the discus clothesline, but man, did she make it work. Simon says, wonder if they do a tournament for the AEW Women's title belt if Punk... Oh, sorry. AEW World title belt if Punk vacates the belt when he gets Tanahashi at Forbidden Door. Wouldn't be the worst thing. I don't necessarily think he's going to vacate, though. Megan says, also, Shayna should have been a multi-time singles champion on the main roster by now. Agreed. Should have beat Becky. She absolutely should have beat Becky. Should have won the Rumble and beat Becky. That was the plan. And then Charlotte Flair. Admittedly, and then Rhea Ripley, and it was a huge benefit to Rhea. And they still got the match. They just should have given her the win. All of this is look how strong Raquel is. It's not a pin. The corkscrew elbow's nice. I'll say that. The elbow's nice. But Raquel's been dominant the entire match. Everyone else is being destroyed. Shayna on the shoulders again. Natalya did indeed pick up the win. Taking her opportunity, and as has happened with every Raquel Rodriguez match, stealing it. Now I believe that match lasted about 3 minutes. That was terrible. Billy says, was there a botch with Shayna bringing down Aliyah? Aliyah rolled awkwardly out and wasn't back in the ring since. Not sure. Not that I saw. Rousey made a point of looking at Raquel Rodriguez there as she heads in to talk to Natalya. These two train together. They're good friends. Should be an alright match. Sean says Natalya wins. Didn't expect that. I thought it'd be Raquel Rodriguez. I did. I'm not against it. Sooner or later, everyone feuds with Natalya. I'm fine with it. Gives us a women's championship feud. Fairly big name. I mean, it's heart, as it were. And it gives Ronda someone to work opposite. It's guaranteed to be a good match. That's the thing. Megan says Charlotte didn't need the Rumble win to get the Rhea match. Could have just gone, I'm Charlotte Flair, bitch, and I want to fight you at WrestleMania. Yes, but if she did that, people would have been complaining about that instead. Like, there's just... Charlotte Flair's one of those damned if she does, damned if she doesn't. Gavin says Natalya versus Ronda this Sunday or Money in the Bank. Probably this Sunday. There's plenty of other people Ronda can feud with. There's no point holding back, as it were. Especially now you've already got the feud there. But we'll see how it goes. We're getting a recap of the beatdown of Madcap Moss. Because coming up soon, Baron Corbin, Madcap Moss. Some reason. Hector says it's crazy that in a year and a half I went from wanting an extra hour of SmackDown due to so much talent to present day and wanting it to be over sooner than later due to a lack of talent. It's crazy how things go from great to current state. They released so many people, literally so many people. Because they released so many, there's no wiggle room anymore. There's no balancing of risk. We just are where we are. Baron Corbin wants to be begged. I don't see that working out for you there, Baron. Moxie says, I knew is now, I think, Shayna winning Money in the Bank. It's not impossible. Like, she seems a good pick, all in all. Madcap Moss did indeed get a redesign. He also lost the Moss. He's just Madcap. Mini Goldberg element there, that's what I'm seeing. I'm going to type that. So, Madcap lost the Moss and turned into Goldberg, did he? Meh. Works for me. Could have been worse. He looks generic, I'll say that. BFG says, going back to an early conversation you're having, I love the royal family. Katie Williams' wedding was a highlight of my childhood. I disagree personally. I don't understand the need for them. I don't get it. I don't think I ever will. It's just sometimes, you know, things happen and you have that moment of, you know? Feels weird. Feels weird, bro. Megan says, I will support Moss if he beats Corbin back to being a hobo, which I think we all want that. We all want that moment where we just go straight back to Hobo Corbin and he just has a full crisis of conscience. Sean says Becky wanted to put over Shayna at WrestleMania 36. Why do you think Becky was told no? I think it's just creative decided to go in a different direction. The bad direction. I think they had no idea for Money in the Bank, so that's why they were like, okay, we'll just extend the feud with Shayna. We'll just make it last longer. Well, you ain't got a chance now. Bayley says, this is how bad SmackDown is. The entire women's lineup is used in a 3-minute match. Could have just had 2 women's matches. Could have had an Aliyah versus Shotzi 5-minute match. Then could have had the other 4 and a fatal 4-way. As an option. I don't know. It's just, they don't seem to think it through. KJ says Madcap looks like Riddick Moss. Anyone else see that? Every now and then. I mean, you get shades of it, but it might be like an Elias Ezekiel situation. Moxie also agrees looks like Goldberg. I think I need to sneeze. Do I need to sneeze? I think I'm going to sneeze. I am. Usually there's 3. It's been a weird day, there's only 2. Megan says he looks like the default wrestler when you have to start WWE 2K with no items. Accurate. Yeah, he's proper generic career wrestler stuff. He's been redesigned. Yeah, what they've done is just remove the colour. They've removed the colour and personality. Simon says Sasha's contract length, the best kept secret in pro wrestling. I love how private Sasha is old school, keeping in her character like MJF. Yeah, debatable point as regards that, but I get what you're saying. Sean says, what will Charlotte do upon her return? Attack Ronda Rousey. Moxie says, that was a whole SmackDown women's roster put in one match. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone who's available was in that match, with the exception of Lacey Evans. Exception of Bayley as well, technically. I don't know if she's SmackDown, though, formally as of yet. Simon says, if Punk stays healthy, Punk versus MJF for the AEW World title or All Out in Chicago in September or Full Gear in November? I have no idea. Do you see MJF as a babyface now? No. He's probably got a great babyface reaction and pops. Worth pointing out that MJF does not want to be a babyface. The Bella twins will be doing a NASCAR thing. Well done. Oh, that's quite close, KJ. Day before my mother's. Oh, look, it's a Lacey Evans vignette. So we've got the Lacey Evans vignette. After this, we're going to get Baron Corbin and Madcap. I'd imagine we're going to get something with Sami Zayn. And so I think we've just got the one wrestling match left, to be fair. By all means, you love what you love, BFG. Whatever works for you. This sounds like a babyface promo. Next week, Lacey Evans. She better be going straight into a feud with Bayley. Madcap using his own music. He looks a lot more generic. Hector says, fun fact, Madcap Moss's brother is a coach for the American football team, the Philadelphia Eagles. That's pretty cool. That explains why he always just runs face first into people. John said, Lacey on SmackDown next week, unless she gets moved to Raw. That's fair. That is a fair comment, and something we do have to consider. He's getting decent pops, but I'm disappointed by his redesign. They could have at least put something on his trunks. He even held the rope and stomped like Goldberg. It's almost too much. BFG says, watching the darts, they're in America. One of their competitors just came out to Real American. Oh, God. That'll be Lacey Evans next week. KJ says, at this point it's going to be NXT Lacey Evans next week. Oh, there you go. Nailed it. Nailed it. And Thomas says, why does he have the entire same attire as Tucker? Just generic, isn't it? Full on generic. He's going to do a promo. I love the green sign in the corner that says, I wish Liv was here. Not the strongest boo for Corbin. Usually audiences are more than happy to boo Corbin. Hector says, I think Madcap is going to need some virtual currency with his current look. I'm feeling more gym teacher, to be honest. Inappropriate gym teacher. Massively inappropriate gym teacher. But gym teacher nonetheless. Madcap Moss is gone. So the guy who got over is gone. Oh, he's getting Watts. Like Elias. So, you're slapping your head as if you've got no neck trauma at all. He's not selling it very well, is he? Simon says, MJF I think could work as a babyface like The Rock did. Anderson Kennedy did in TNA, Impact to WWE, both great mic workers. Could do, he don't want to. He's not interested. Madcap Moss with a bit of a cheap pop there. He's here for blood. Hector says, speaking of teachers, Tom, do you remember Professor Matt Stryker on ECW with Big Daddy V? Nope. Never watched any of that ECW crap, I tell you that. Watched some actual ECW, never watched the WWE ECW. I wasn't watching at the time. I just wasn't. Megan says, I'm sorry. The old Madcap can't come to the phone right now. Why? Because he's dead. Sean says, according to Fightful, Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti are engaged. To be fair, that's not necessarily according to Fightful. They announced it on their own Twitter. I mean, I'm sure Fightful did re-report it and aggregate it. But they don't quite get the credit for that one. Baron Corbin's a strange guy. Quite the funky pudding. Baron's reminding him, you're supposed to be begging. Megan first saw it on TMZ. Well, there are... They're breaking through mainstream, aren't they? Okay, so it looks like Baron Corbin's going to run away. He doesn't want to speak to an angry person. He's protecting his boy. And Adam Pearce was just... he's too ready. Well, they're doing the match now. Maybe we won't get to Hell in a Cell with this one. Get in the ring, Corbin. They're getting too much use out of the whole Happy No More line. Are we seriously getting another commercial? Jesus Christ. 2/3 of the way through SmackDown, it's not been terrible. The women's match was far too short. The opening match was good, though. We've got a reinvention of Madcap. That's been alright. We've lots of promises for next week. Lacey Evans, Max Dupree gets a new client. They're building something. I just don't know if what they're building will be any good, but they are building something. KJ says this is going to end with Moss versus Corbin in the cell, I think, after Corbin takes a count out. Corbin will take the opportunity to run away, I'm sure, which makes sense taking it to the pay-per-view. Bailey says, here's my booking for Sunday's Ezekiel KO match. Owens has his way until Elias appears on the Titantron to support his brother, whereupon KO loses his mind and Ezekiel rolls him up for the pin. KO spends the rest of the show trying to find Elias backstage. I would love it if someone who looked moderately like Elias came out and just started playing guitar at the top of the ramp. Just started playing guitar. And then left. But obviously, like, Elias has got quite a lot of hair, so it wouldn't be easy to make him out, like, typically, especially if the lights weren't too high or anything like that. And, you know, but it would still be him, and it would still prove that, hopefully prove to KO that they're two separate people. Megan says this has Hell in a Cell pre-show written all over it. Just getting another hour-long show of recaps on Sunday, aren't we? Yeah. That's all we're getting. They don't do wrestling matches in pre-shows anymore. They don't need to. Hector says, I may not be the biggest AEW fan, but the one thing I do appreciate them is they always find ways to get eyes on the product regardless of it paying off or not. Like Punk tweeting he has a huge announcement tonight on Rampage regardless of what he says. KJ is saying, so Punk supposedly hurt his foot. People are saying it's out from the match, obviously, but some are saying he hurt it jumping into the crowd. That would be bad. No confirmation, just speculation. We'll see soon. We will indeed. Oh. My adrenaline from earlier is starting to wear off. Thankfully, there's only 40 minutes left. We can survive that. Also, I'm still not feeling too well. What a day. So, we have 2 matches left. Unless they manage to slip another 3-minuter in. We have Baron Corbin versus Madcap. With his new incarnation. And then we have, for the undisputed tag team titles, the Usos versus Matt Riddle and Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm surprised we haven't already seen the Usos at least get interviewed backstage. I wouldn't be too surprised if that's what we get as soon as we go back. Thomas says, I'd love it if Finn and Liv turned on AJ. He was stuck in the middle of the cell surrounded. Just imagine how Edge has got into his head of everyone that AJ thought that he could trust. I don't think Liv would do that particularly. I think a lot of people want Finn to do that, but now's not the time. KJ says, matter of fact, rewatching his entrance after he jumped into the crowd and walked down the ramp, he was limping. That's probably why people think he injured himself at that time. Broken Skull sessions will feature Jeff Jarrett. There is historical heat between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Jeff Jarrett. That's going to be an interesting one. Jones says Alexa, Charlotte or Seth Rollins on Broken Skull sessions at one time. I mean, I think Seth's already been on, hasn't he? I'm confident Seth's already been on. So we're going straight to the match. Baron Corbin is still refusing to get in the ring. This is going to be an exercise in time killing, isn't it? This is just going to be a waste of time. Thank you, Megan, confirming Seth was on last September. Thomas says, do you think anyone will join Judgment Day at Hell in a Cell then? No. No, not yet. I think there are undoubtedly more people, but at the moment, I'd let it build over time. I think the next person I would add would be at Money in the Bank. And then after that, I'd have them really standing tall at SummerSlam to cement them, and then moving on from the club. I still have the club, but I'd have them moving on from the club. I don't necessarily know who they'd be going up against. I'd be looking at maybe adding Naomi to the Bloodline, then having Judgment Day go after the Bloodline. I'd like it. Sean says, I don't think Finn would fit Judgment Day unless it's a demon. KJ says Finn may not fit, but the Prince will. Of course, that means you'd have to go to New Japan and get the Prince, because the Prince has never appeared on WWE TV. Megan says Corbin's going to run away to set up the Hell in a Cell match, calling it now. Makes sense. It's very Baron Corbin. He's a chicken shit heel. I liked the brief times when he wasn't a chicken shit heel. when he was a monster heel. That was good. As a general rule, you get your chicken shit, your dirty heel, and your monster heel. Heels are easy to break up into different factions and groups. Oh, well, we've gone straight to a DQ win for Corbin. But, you know what, I'm alright with this. This wasn't about wrestling matches, this was about beating. Oh, gotcha, KJ. Gotcha, KJ. If there's one person in the WWE that fans love watching get beat up, it's Baron Corbin. That's his job. His job is to take the beating. I think we got to make this one serious. The crowd are into it. Megan says, beat him until he's a bum. Knock the money out of him. Corbin cresting nicely there. Sean says, did everyone spot Curtis Axel on Raw this week as a security guy? I didn't, and then it appeared 15 times on my Twitter feed. So yeah. When people get hyped, they all get hyped. Moss wants to go further. But it's going to be broken up. Madcap Moss will not get his way. Baron Corbin will escape, run away in disgrace, surviving by the skin of his teeth. The winner has been announced. Madcap Moss does not look happy with himself. Oh, there's a sign saying welcome back, Madcap. Hector says Corbin does have one of the most protected finishes in all of wrestling with the End of Days. Still wild to me considering it's been mainly a mid-carder. He did the Scott Hall thing. He just doesn't use it. If he's going to lose, he doesn't use it. Okay, the Usos are being interviewed now. I've got a screw loose, so I'm just going to tighten it. Usos are backstage being interviewed by Kayla Braxton. No Roman, no Paul Heyman this week. KJ says this crowd has been amazing. They deserved a better show. They did. They've given the WWE a lot. There's still time for it to have a great final match. This last half hour, we should have some Sami Zayn and we should just have a great match. But I imagine the match will only be 15 minutes or so. Yeah, the horn's still there. They're both very lucky to have found love, BFG. Simon says if Sasha and Naomi come back from Money in the Bank women's ladder match, I think they come back for the build. Say Bayley's a surprise entrant for the match. I don't know. No idea. I cannot answer that question. Sean is still protected because it went this long. But yes, Drew kicked out of it. It's no longer the unstoppable. And I don't think Drew needed it. I really don't. Of all people, Drew McIntyre did not need that. Yeah, as KJ says, that's still protected. He's been on main roster for 6 years now and it's been kicked out of once. Yeah. The Sister Abigail was similar for a while. Not forever, unfortunately, but for a while. Simon says Curtis Axel is back as a producer agent, not so perfect anymore. Wait, he never was. He was Curtis Axel. I don't think he was ever Curtis Perfect. KJ says Drew didn't need it for one, and two, they didn't build it up enough. They didn't. Moxie says no Gunter today. That's a good spot, actually. That's disappointing. Maybe they'll have something backstage with him in a minute. Maybe we won't see any Sammy. Maybe Sammy will get involved in the main event to help the Usos hold the championships and distract Shinsuke. I wish them well as well, BFG. That's the only part of that I'm going to read. I don't remember KG. I don't remember Curtis Axel's theme. I'll have to Google it after this. There are some very good themes of that era, I tell you. Just a shame what's happened since. I still miss Shayna Baszler's theme more than anything, I think. KJ agrees. Sammy probably held the Bloodline win. Moxie said I can see Sammy getting involved in the main event. So yeah, just agreeing with what I'm saying there, Moxie. Simon says, fun fact, Liv is using a backstabber as a move the last few weeks in tribute to Sasha. Love that from her. No, that's not the case. She's been using the backstabber for a while now. She's been using it for a long time. I know you'll have spotted it because of the link to Sasha, but she has used it for a while. I will, KJ. Sounds fun. I'll have heard it at some point, but I think when I rejoined wrestling, he was part of Social... God, what was it called? Social something. Or anti-social something? Part of a group. Which had Bo Dallas. I want to say Heath Slater? I don't know. KJ says, Liv has been using the backstabber. To be fair, the crew started that narrative. Yeah. She's not doing it for anything Sasha related. It's not a move that only Sasha uses. Social outcast. Thank you, Megan. You always know everything. I don't want a Hell in a Cell NFT flip. I don't want it. I don't want it. Baron Corbin is backstage. Bo Heath and Adam Rose. I forgot about Adam Rose. Thank you, Sean. We're here to learn about Hell in a Cell. Match at Hell in a Cell confirmed. We have a Smackdown match. No holds barred. No cell, but no holds barred. KG says, speaking of Gunter, indeed. Pat McAfee really putting his hat on that. He's being shouted at right now. So next week we'll have Lacey Evans, we'll have Max Dupree, and we have Ricochet versus Gunter. Why isn't this on the pay-per-view? Just put it on the pay-per-view. Just put it on the pay-per-view. Megan says, Cole and McAfee aren't getting the night off then. They are not. They're there for one match. One match. Hector says, wishful thinking here. But if Forbidden Door does really well, maybe Vince would say I should do something similar, or with Daniel Bryan the only chance of any crossover happening again. Wishful thinking. I personally think it'll never happen when they're making as much money as they do by being more casual oriented. They bent over backwards for Daniel Bryan to try and keep him. They did not succeed. They have not been willing to try since. They're simply not interested in trying. Simon is saying apparently Fightful Select was saying it's Natalya versus Ronda down the road. A real shame. Yes, Sean, it's next week. What I'm saying is put it on the pay-per-view. Just do it. Thomas Phipps says, I'm actually really enjoying the booking of Gunter. He's been a breath of fresh air. That's a USA chant. I don't want USA chants, but that's what the WWE are trying to get. BFG says, random question. Has WWE forgotten about pushing Dave Bautista into the Hall of Fame? No, they've not forgotten. They just have other people who want to focus on now. Nakamura's getting the first entrance, which means the crowd are going to get hype. We should get about 18-20 minutes of wrestling here. Which might be about as long as the first match. One of the weakest pops that Riddle's had in a while, actually. Still a good pop. Still a lot of love for Riddle. But one of the weakest pops he's had in a while. Bro, etc. If you're currently watching on YouTube, please remember to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. We're looking for just one more subscriber to reach the point of 1,170 subscribers en route to 1,200. We've been growing exceptionally well recently, and long may that continue. Also, if you're watching on Twitch, which I know many of you are, if you haven't done so yet, please click follow. Makes a big difference to the growth of the channel there as well. We've still not quite hit that 500, but we're hovering so very close. They are running down the Hell in a Cell card, which is just a whole lot of Raw. Sean says, is everyone ready for Wesley, Stacy Keibler, A-Kid and the Hurricane as DLC for 2K22 releasing next Wednesday? I would like to play with Stacy. No. I would like to play as Stacy Keibler. I would like to play as Stacy Keibler. Now, we spoke about the 6-person mixed tag match happening at Hell in a Cell. I thought it was too early, but I'm still very glad to have it. Thank you, BFG. Appreciate that. I'm very glad to have it, you know? Just the overall development is a wonderful thing. Honestly, I think the whole Judgment Day Bullet Club section, as it were, is fantastic. That particular feud has delivered very strongly. I get you, Simon. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Sean says, Chance Asuka takes the fall in the triple threat to protect Becky. Low, I'm confident Becky's taking the pin. I'm confident. Bailey says, any chance Sami Zayn interferes in this match and costs the Usos the win? Possible, very unlikely. The Usos are not likely to give up those championships anytime soon. So with everything they're doing, introducing all of the matches for the pay-per-view, after the commercial break, we're going to get to the actual match. It's only going to be about 15 minutes of wrestling. Because we're going through everything. Becky looks so different now. Like, that is a glamour shot and a half. I will be hosting a live Hell in a Cell watch party. Now, while I'm on that subject, now seems like the perfect time to show you guys something. Just to show you guys something. Now, for those who don't know, Sai has been doing me favours, and doing me very good favours. He's been creating some designs for me, and they've been a real big help. Now, he's created a design purely for Hell in a Cell. Would you like to see it? Would anyone like to see the design of the overlay purely for the Hell in a Cell watch party special? Sean says, who does everyone think will eventually beat the Usos? I'm confident it's going to go straight back to RK Bro. Simon says, don't think I'm watching Hell in a Cell so down on pro wrestling right now about Sasha Bailey in the WWE. It shows in everything you say, mate. It says, how is SmackDown going? It's okay. It's passable. It's infuriating in its own way, but it's passable. The wrestling's been okay. The women got 3 minutes at most. It was bad, but we got there. Okay, guys, are we ready? Are we ready? Hell in a Cell. This is the design. It's obviously very similar to the SmackDown watch-along design, which is as it should be. But I just love the actual chain link that is put in. Sai has been doing me absolute favours. This, glorious. Absolutely glorious. Very happy with it. Very happy. I do need to change it back though, because otherwise I'll forget. So I need to do that. And that. And we're good. Hector said, it's still crazy that Michael Cole's been around for 25 years. I was 5 when he first started. Will always remember his interactions with The Rock. Great times. Not great. Not great times. Very questionable and problematic times. But for the time, pretty accurate. Simon says, I'll watch Tom's watch-along of Hell in a Cell instead to get through the pay-per-view. And so you should. That's perfect. Ed says, nice. Way to go, Sai. Thomas says, looks class. Sean says, good one, Sai. Can't wait to see the Money in the Bank and SummerSlam ones. I'm not going to be chasing him down for these. He makes these off his own back in his own time, and I really do appreciate them. But hey, if he wants to throw me some more designs, I ain't going to argue. What I'm going to say is thank you. That's all I'm going to say. Not quite at the moment, BFG, but I appreciate the extra number. So we are in our final commercial break, ready for our final match, which is once again a winner-take-all tag team championship match. There are the Raw tag team championships and the SmackDown tag team championships on the line. Riddle missing a partner, Nakamura missing a partner, but it's good to see Nakamura a lot more involved. We haven't seen Sami Zayn yet tonight. That's still on underneath. We haven't seen Sami Zayn yet tonight, and I feel that's what we need to see to get through this particular part. Makes the most sense in my eyes to have a Sami Zayn invasion. A Zayn invasion, essentially, would be ideal at this point in time. Simon says, Roman versus Riddle at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Now it looks like it does. It does. As I say, and as I've said previously, Roman has been trying to make this one happen. I have every confidence he will succeed. Sean says, anyone remember that awful coal mine and Michael's fanboying of The Miz? Thankfully, I wasn't watching at the time. I also missed the Anonymous GM era. I'm very proud of that. Very happy with that. It's a very good thing to miss, you know? I do want to take this opportunity to say a big thanks to everyone who's jumped into the chat today. I did have a pretty bad time in the last couple of hours before this show started. So I'm glad that, one, it's been a moderately distracting show. It's not been terrible. It's been okay. It's been passable. Even though none of it really means anything. But yeah, it's been passable. And I appreciate everyone helping out, keeping me entertained, keeping me from losing my mind a little bit here. If I'd have known it would be like this when I first started, I would have been so excited. So excited. Nowadays, even if, for example, the gaming streams, they're not heavily attended. That's absolutely fine. It's a gaming stream. It's not what I'm known for. But with a game, you can always communicate with essentially the game. You don't need the audience bouncing back and forth. Though if there is someone bouncing back and forth with you, you'll absolutely use that. With a show like this, yeah, I've got the show, but also there's commercial breaks. There's long, slow promos and stuff. It's just great having people here to keep these shows alive. Now, on Spoiler Warning, we get like 50, 60 people, and they are flying in with their questions. And it's a huge help. Those shows would not last an hour. I don't have an hour's worth of news in those. But we still managed to have a great show. Thank you very much, Shinso the Great, for following on Twitch. Welcome to the show. You will receive a notification every time we go live for Spoiler Warning, which is our new show. We also do watch-alongs for pay-per-views, SmackDown, And on Sundays, we do some gaming content. We're playing Last of Us Part 2. You'll always in your notification get exactly what we're doing, so if something's not for you, absolutely fine. Welcome to the show. Hector says, Tom, have you been able to watch any of your shows you've been catching up on? I recall you mentioned you were into the show The Boys and the new season just dropped. I haven't been able to watch The Boys yet. What I was watching recently was Stranger Things, which I'm all caught up on and a little bit mad about how they've separated them. Shinso says, hello, I'm new. You seem to be down to earth. Happy to be here. Well, welcome, Shinso. I try my best. I like to keep it chill in here and just relaxed. And that works for me. Sean says, are you almost done with Last of Us Part 2? Oh, nowhere near. Nowhere near. No. I'm just starting day 2 in Seattle. I think in total I'm about a quarter of the way through the game. I'm having a great time with it, personally. Are you not enjoying it, Sean? You want to dip out? That's absolutely fine. If it's not for you, it's not for you. If it's boring you. Shinso says, greetings from the States. And greetings to you from Blackpool, England. Megan says, first 3 episodes of The Boys are awesome. I cannot wait. Given that I'm probably not going to get to any sleep tonight, that might be what I do. Got to record a podcast tomorrow as well. Yay. It's going to be one of those days, isn't it? God damn it. Riddle and Nakamura are working pretty well together so far. Sean, please don't ask those questions. Megan, please don't answer those questions. I've not watched it yet. Not watched it yet. Don't want to risk any potential for spoilers. Megan, I trust you to be tongue-in-cheek as need be. But if we can just avoid as much as possible. Cool. Thank you, Megan. BFG says, are you going to watch Ric Flair's last match? No, and I hope no one does. Ric Flair should have retired a long time ago. He should not be wrestling. This is a very dumb choice that he is making. I will say that until he can't say it anymore. It just ain't right. Nakamura on the attack. Building into a commercial break. Just a bit of carnage on the outside. Matt Riddle's in the corner waiting for a tag and Shinsuke's not there. He's just kneeing steps instead. Sean says, a match I wanted to see with Nakamura versus Ambrose. I think it would have been great. I think they could have done some good stuff there. I absolutely think they could. It's been a while since we've seen the Usos do that to someone. Maybe Nakamura last time, to be fair. Hector, that's a lovely thing to say. Says to Shinso, you're in good hands here and Tommy's pretty cool as well. That's really nice to say, Hector. It's one of the... Oh, they're getting a trainer down to check on Nakamura. They've done the thing. Which obviously it's a work, but they're doing the thing. I really like when you guys sort of chat amongst yourselves a little bit as well. And when you guys make other people feel welcome, makes a big difference. Really does make a big difference. Jinso says, retired to a wrestler doesn't mean nothing. Yeah, that's unfortunately proven true on every occasion. Billy says, 20 is still a good number this late in the watch-along. There are times many months back when 5 or 6 would be here. Absolutely true. Absolutely. Across both platforms, I think we're peaked at 27. On YouTube, we peaked at 22. Good numbers for a watch party, considering where we are. And yeah, absolutely. Many months back, there would be 5 or 6. And I'd be happy with that. I'd be thinking to myself, yeah, that's fantastic. I'm very happy with where we are at the moment, to be honest. Shinso says, I think Nakamura is pretty much just phoning it in. I don't personally think that. I think his work with Boogs has been very reinvigorating. But certainly Matt Riddle is now alone with the Usos. I'm suspecting we may see Randy Orton shortly. Yeah, I think people from England are usually a lot more chill, yeah. We don't really get hype, like, at all. What do you mean, BFG? Oh, as regards Ric Flair. Yeah, we disagree on things. It's fine. It's okay to disagree, BFG. You don't need to be so sorry. We can agree to disagree. Sorry, guys, my throat's gone again. I need to spray. I nearly made the big sweat. Sorry guys, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm a bit under the weather. Got the cough's coming. Oh. Yeah, I was completely knocked out of it on Tuesday. Tiny Arms had to drag me to bed. She made me a soup and some bread to dip it in. It was really nice. I'm not used to it. I bought some flowers yesterday just to sort of make up for it and say I'm sorry. Then we had a barbecue. Sean says, wouldn't they do the X if it was a real injury? They would. This one is a work injury. Hector says, I think Ric Flair said the wrestler all those years ago and said, well, I can do it better. Saw the wrestler all those years ago and said, I can do it better. Yep, that sounds like Ric Flair. Moxie wants to see Ric Flair versus Jinder Mahal. And Megan counters what Shinsuke has said, says, English people are chill. To a point. To a point. Ah, yeah, Shinsuke, stock up on that vitamin C. There are still some things going around. There are definitely still some things going around. We all need to be a little bit careful. Just to look after ourselves and our families, you know? So we are heading into our last segment of WWE Smackdown. I've said before, I'll say again, it's been okay. It's been passable, it's been average. It's been fun at parts, but nothing I'm excited for. Moxie says, Vince versus Ric Flair in the main event of WrestleMania 39. I can't believe Vince wrestled again. It's a ridiculous world that we live in. Bailey says, how many retirement matches has Ric Flair had before this one? He'll always want one more, even when he's 80. He got fired back in WCW days. He had a retirement match there. Guy never stops. Shinsuke says, Flair wants to die in the ring. He will regardless of what people want. That's the scary part. I hope that's not the case. But I also kind of see where you're coming from there. Megan says, there's a lot going around. Primary school in my area has been hit really bad with a sickness bug. Nearly half the school has been hit with it. That may be what I've got, to be honest. After all, there are school-aged children in my life at the moment. And they carry stuff. Ohio. Okay. BFG says, thank goodness for the girlfriend/wife and soup. Tiny Arms is girlfriend at the moment. I usually go with partner. Trying to be neutral. Moxie says, it's crazy to think the Stone Cold main evented WrestleMania 38 Night 1. I know, right? Hasn't been seen since, but he wrestled. He wrestled Kevin Owens. Did Kevin Owens favours. And since then, Kevin Owens has been working Ezekiel. Helping the new guy develop in his first feud, you know? I kind of get where you're coming from there, Shin, so I wouldn't necessarily say beneath him. I think Kevin Owens, as much as anything, you get the favour of Steve Austin, you pay back your favours and you do favours for other people. That's Vince McMahon thinking right there. And to be honest, I think that's probably Kevin Owens thinking as well. He'll be very happy with that. Moxie says, imagine telling me 1 year ago Stone Cold will main event WrestleMania. Barely even believed it at the time, mate. Jey Uso into the zone. Sean says the show could have used Alexa. I think the Columbus crowd would have loved it. They absolutely would. They would have cheered like hell for her. She's on the wrong brand for it. Simon says this will be Sasha's 4th comeback in a year. If she comes back soon, very hopefully. Queen of Comebacks is not the best title, mate. It just basically says she goes away a lot. Hector says, Tom, did you see William Regal did the thing on Dynamite Wednesday? Blood and guts. What thing? What thing? Do you mean he did War Games but for Blood and Guts? That would have been fun. Shinsuke says, unless they got something big physique, I don't see this going anywhere, and KO is right back to the mid-card. He has been dropped down the card pretty significantly. My hope is that he's in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and from there he maybe gets into a feud with Cody. I mean, that could work. Mega says, I think Owens is one of the few people who could have made this Ezekiel bit work, as well as it has been so far. Ezekiel would not have even started to get over, if not for the fact that Kevin Owens was all in on it. And I mean all in. Shinsuke agrees, says, no doubt, him and Sami both, but still it's like there's something missing. Megan says, I missed hearing Regal yell stipulations at people. It's a trademark, and it's a trademark I never want to see go. Matt Riddle's doing pretty well so far. The floating bro definitely did some damage to Jay. Definitely did some damage to Jay there, and like some genuine damage. A power slam, Randy Orton style. Didn't go for the cover, going for the draping DDT, doing the whole damn thing. Hector says, yes, Tom, that's what I was referring to. He said it was the War Games phrasing. It was great. He said it like it was the War Games phrasing. It was great because Kingston egged him on too. And so he should. Well, maybe we have to have a look at that report, Sean. See if that is what was reported. BFG says, when it comes time, you should propose on the Eiffel Tower and have it picked up by TMZ. Who says I'm going to propose? Marriage ain't really my thing. I don't see the point in it. Like, I've been in relationships where people have tried to convince me that there's a point to it, and I wish them all the best in doing so, but nobody's succeeded yet. What's the point of getting married? I don't get it. I'm not religious, so what's the point? Although we are going to Paris at some point next year. Shinsuke says, I saw on Instagram they moved Lacey back to SmackDown. What are they thinking back there? They're thinking they don't have enough people and they're just desperate to have more options. Oh. That works. Good at Matt Riddle. He was distracted, but he still focused enough to hit the big RKO. But it was indeed Sami Zayn backstage wreaking havoc by playing Roman's theme and just scaring Riddle. That is top class work by Sami Zayn. Roman not even here. Megan says, after Anarchy in the arena, I don't know what else they can do other than actually set someone on fire. Don't give them ideas. Don't give them ideas. Sean hates blind tags. Shinsuke says, been with a wife 6 years already, with a young one, no plans to getting married either. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm sure people have their reasons, and for some people it's absolutely essential. And I get that. To each their own. I don't personally get it. I don't need cheering up, BFG. It's alright, mate. It's okay. Not the dumbest I've seen, though, Shinsuke. He did still hit the Avalanche RKO. He did still hit that. Probably shouldn't say that about Riddle. Well, if your brother wants to get married, your brother wants to get married. As I say, each to their own. I just personally don't see the value. The only thing Tiny Arms and myself have agreed on so far is that if we did plan a wedding, both of us would leave everyone else at the altar. And we just go to, like, Spain or something. It'd be great. Sean says, would Riddle need a gimmick change to be a heel? I feel yes, because he'd be the laziest heel in the known world. Thank you, Hector. I appreciate that. I'll probably check it in the morning at this point, to be fair. I have to go check on some people next door. And KJ says, Riddle is going to be a huge babyface when the time comes. Oh, absolutely. He's already well on the way. The connection of Randy Orton is good, but the fact that he's constantly featured is even better. Shinsuke says, me and the wife both feel once people sign those government papers, you lose something. Always end up in divorce. My mum's been through a couple of divorces. Yeah, if it's not for you, it's not for you. And part of accepting other people is accepting that people are different. And that does mean things like that. I personally have never seen much of a point in getting married. But I know plenty of people for whom getting married is absolutely a vital part of their life. I don't question it. That's their choice. Went off on one a little bit there, but what I will say at this point is that SmackDown is now over. It was average. First match was alright. Last match was alright. All of it was fairly predictable. The women only got 3 minutes, which is not good enough. Not good enough at all. And I wanted more from Madcap and Corbin. But we did get some good character development from Sami Zayn. He's paying dividends, as it were. Shinsuke Nakamura selling injury. That's not a great thing, and I worry about what that means for the future. But for the point of this, from this viewer, that was okay and a good way to spend 2 hours. I don't feel like I've wasted my time. Largely, of course, because we're having a stream and I've got great people to chat away to, I'd imagine. Megan says, I'm in the middle with marriage. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Fair enough. Thomas says, see you tomorrow if you do an In Your House stream. If not, hope you have a good weekend. And we'll see you for Hell in a Cell. Thank you very much, Thomas. I will still be doing predictions tomorrow. They might not be live, depending on my schedule. So I'll probably film them and premiere them later on. But we'll see how that goes. For now, though, just want to say massive thanks to everyone for joining me. And I've been Tom Collier. You've been fantastic. And I'll see you all very soon.